Peak District, but without their parents. The rest of the family tried to kind of brave it out in Cottbus, in what wasn't East Germany then, but was in the eastern part of Germany. Very eminent family running a law firm. Hitler then decided that obviously you couldn't practice a profession like that if you were Jewish. And I think my grandfather ended up as a filing clerk in the law firm he founded, and then they tried to sort of get away, and my great-grandfather got away to Ecuador.
Exit the roundabout onto the parkway. Continue on the parkway for 1 mile.
And the rest of the family all ended up either dying in the ghettos, because my great-grandmother was Polish, or in Auschwitz. The youngest of whom was 6, and he and his father were torn away from their mother and wife's arms, and were sent into the chamber together and perished. And I remember saying to my dad, who sadly passed away just before Christmas, I remember saying to him, you know, are you angry with what happened? Are you angry? Are you cross with the Germans for what they did to you? And he said, no. He said, we just have to make sure it doesn't happen again. In 1995, I served with the British Army and the UN in Bosnia, and I just watched it all happen again. I think the answer is, well, you know what the answer is. The answer is education. And it's changing perceptions of what children see and hear from their parents if their parents are prejudiced. But prejudice is an irrational concept, so you can't have an intellectual debate about it. You have to change people's perception of what right and wrong is. And the other thing I think that should be compulsory in schools, I think every school should take the children to see Auschwitz.
Oh yeah, Simon, because of some anti-Semitic incidents, this is well over a decade ago in my constituency, emanating from a particular school in the secondary school in the constituency, with the Holocaust Memorial Trust, Education Trust, sorry, I was able to take a plane load of children to Auschwitz. It was
In a quarter of a mile, at Cranford Parkway interchange, take the second exit onto the M4 slip road to Heathrow Airport, M25.
What happened, and I'm going to get emotional as I say this, what happened in Auschwitz was, until you've seen the machines, until you've seen the shoes, the clothes, it was the shoes that affected me. They kept these shoes. It was so industrial. I hadn't quite realised that the same concepts that brought us the Ford motor car, you got the motor car turned out at an industrial level, was put to work in Germany to gas and kill people. And the kids saw it, it affected them. They came back to the neighbourhood and they understood the respect, the generosity, the compassion, the love they should have towards their neighbours who in that part of Tottenham, Stamford Hill area, are wearing Orthodox clothing, look different, but should not be subjected to anti-Semitic rants or phrases or jokes as they went about their business. So
no, it is. And the one thing I will say is that the German government and the Germans I've known have tried their absolute...
Exit the roundabout onto the slip road.
We got approached by the German embassy.
In a quarter of a mile, merge onto M4.
Grant, we're really sorry, because he was rendered stateless when he got here. That you probably would like your passport back, and your children probably would have been born here and their children, so in perpetuity down the paternal side. I've got dual nationality now. I think I beat Farage into the queue, actually, but he was there a day after me or so. But no,
Simon, how do you feel? I have this, I say to my children, live up to your ancestors' prayers, and they know what I'm talking about when I say that. And basically I'm saying to them, I don't care how hard you're finding it. Remember, we have ancestors who died because they were being thrown over boats and killed on that passage from Africa across the Atlantic. Live up to your ancestors' prayers. You must feel a weight that you carry because of that terrible, terrible period in history. How do you honour that? And do you feel that we're going backwards somehow? That we're forgetting where evil and hatred starts and where it can lead?
I think you're spot on. I mean, interestingly, I'm not technically Jewish because it passes down the maternal line, so my mum isn't. So, and therefore I'm not followed the faith or anything. To be honest with you, my dad didn't when he was here, so he was a Jew by definition, but not by faith. But my dad was always centre left and just a good, what I call a good socialist. I don't mean that in a sort of ultra left wing way. The sort of person you are, you and he would have got on very well. And I just kind of hear my dad saying to me all the time, just don't let it happen again. So I go out of my way to make sure that I treat everybody the same. If I say I don't see colour, that's a bit trite, but I don't see colour, and I don't think anybody's any different. I judge people by what they do, not how they were born. And that's all you can do, and pass that on to others, and when you see it, call it out. Make sure it doesn't happen again. You don't have the courage to call it out when it happens.
Simon, thank you so much for calling in. I'm taking your calls on what we need to do today to live up on this Holocaust Memorial Week, to live up and pay tribute to those many, many people who lost their lives during the Holocaust and so many other genocides. And let me include in the genocides, we talked about Darfur, we talked about Rwanda, we talked about Bosnia, let me include, of course, Armenia. Call me on 0345 6060 973. The time now is 6:30. And it's time for the news with Simon Morgan.
Storm Malik has claimed a second life, a 9-year-old who died after being hit by a falling tree in Staffordshire. Earlier, a 60-year-old woman was killed in Aberdeen after a tree hit her. Scotland's First Minister says some people could be without power for the rest of the weekend following the storm. The Prime Minister says he's determined to accelerate diplomatic efforts as tensions grow between Russia and Ukraine. Russia has
In a quarter of a mile, keep right to stay on M4.
It doesn't plan on an invasion. And the founder of an animal charity says he believes Boris Johnson did not intervene to help him evacuate dozens of cats and dogs from Afghanistan back in August. Emails shared with the Foreign Affairs Committee suggest the Prime Minister authorised it, something he's dismissed as rhubarb. The weather this evening and tonight, strong winds from...
Keep right to stay on M4.
A dry and clear night with lows of 2. This is LBC.
This is what Monday feels like when you find a great new job at read.co.uk. Fluffy, adorable, majestic. So cute you just want to give a little scratch.
In 2 miles, at junction 5, exit towards Langley roundabout.
Be so sweet. Love Mondays again. Find a job that'll get you purring at read.co.uk.
Matt is hoping this shower will bring him back to life after an eventful night. You see, he's just bought an energy-efficient boiler from British Gas for just £35 a month, and it could save him £240 a year on his energy bills. So the only thing Matt needs to worry about is...
What shower?
Search British Gas new boiler. Conditions apply. British Gas New Heating Limited is a credit broker, not the lender, and uses a panel of lenders. Representative example: cash price £1,666, no deposit. Total payable £2,098.20. APR 9.9%. New boiler saving compared to G-rated boiler.
With Tesco's Aldi Price Match, you can save yourself a trip. So why not enjoy the time saved with some breathing exercises? Breathe in and out. In and out. Or you could just have a lovely cuppa. Tesco has price matched hundreds of products you love. Tesco, every little helps. Comparable products shopped in GB Aldi stores and or online twice weekly. Price most often found match pro rata, excluding promotions, may vary by week and by store. Excludes Express and Northern Ireland. Details at tesco.com/Aldi price match.
The salsa, the tango, the lambada. They call it the forbidden dance. Won't stop me. The dance floor is where I belong. But lately, not always hearing the music has had me looking like I have 2 left feet. That's why I got these hearing aids from those superstars at Specsavers. I wish I'd done it years ago, because now I'm back, shaking my...
Specsavers Advanced Hearing.
In a quarter of a mile, at junction 5, exit towards Langley roundabout. Exit at junction 5. Continue for half a mile. In a quarter of a mile, at Langley roundabout, take the second exit onto Majors Farm Road B470. Exit the roundabout onto Majors Farm Road. Continue on B470 for 1.5 miles.